Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Big V Rap Show. Big V was a 160-person Blood Bowl tournament held in Melbourne only 1 week ago. And today we are here to break down the results, the stats, the takeaways. And with me to help is Baz, the stats man, and the winner himself, Liam Coulston.
Thank you.
And he will help us with expert opinions and also discuss his path to victory.
Yeah. All right, let's get into it, John.
Yeah,
No
so
messing around.
I think that most people, what they would like to know first is sort of the breakdown of win rates of all the different races and results and things like that.
So let's
So
bring it up.
I reckon let's go to that. So we're going to look at the stats, results. Then we're going to look at the winners and how they got there, and Liam's path to victory, and then just sort of at the end some takeaways of like things we noticed during the event.
Yeah, sure.
So I'm going to shrink us down to little people and bring up my slideshow.
This is, yeah. Do.
The Big V Rap Show. Here we go. This is new for me, but here we go.
Okay.
All right. So starting off with, let's just say, the top 10.
Yeah.
And bear in mind, some people are watching, but I reckon a lot of people are listening only. So what have we got here? Number 1.
Oh, well, we have... Who do we have, Liam?
Oh, me.
There we go.
Keep it cool.
Yeah. Then we got number 2. We got Luke Stewart from WA.
Yep, that was Dark Elves was your team at number 1.
Yep. Then Luke Stewart with Chaos from WA. Then number 3, we got Mshumi from New Zealand.
Boo.
With the only Underworld Didison side.
Not bad. Skaven coming in number 4. That's Rabid.
Who's that?
Who? Oh, no. Who's this guy? He must be new.
Who's the Sydney fella that you said had fallen off?
No, he's nobody.
Here we go.
Number 5, we got the Hogster with, look at this, Amazon. So, Hoagie from SA, Crazy Bunter from SA with the Union.
Norse, Big A at number 7 is
From
Norse.
Canberra,
Number 8 is James himself, DSF, Corn.
which I said in the pre-game he would not win because they're too swingy and he would lose a game somewhere or draw somewhere along the way.
Didn't he go 4 wins, 2 draws?
He did.
I have a slide later on comparing what you predicted versus what we actually got.
Yep.
Your predictions were,
We'll
see, yeah.
Liam's dad.
Playing Tomb Norse.
yeah.
Morse. Yeah.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was
What was
playing
it?
Norse.
Norse?
It was just Norse.
I don't know how that got in there.
And last year's winner followed with Amazons. He came 10th because he had, I think, 1 loss and 1 draw.
It was a tie last game.
Right.
Yes. So,
Yeah. Just looking at the top 10, you could briefly notice that Amazon's represented twice already.
Amazon's Norse.
Norse.
But that was also, we predicted that.
Yeah.
Said, yeah. And let's be honest. Looking at all these coaches, there is no real surprises here.
No.
Luke
What about that? Luke, Chaos Chosen in second place.
Yeah,
That's
so-
impressive.
That is. So Luke is from WA, and I was actually talking to Watto about this. He's from WA. They don't really have that many tournaments over in WA, so it's actually kind of hard to get a read on how good coaches are, really, because if you only play 2 tournaments a year, there's not much to really compare it against. But obviously these guys did extremely well. Chaos Chosen is a very hard side to say at the top level. But then he was the only other person, I think, went 5 wins, only lost in the last round. So
And I played Luke last round, and very tight player and
So-
very good. And he's been up there before at Big V's, I'm pretty sure.
yeah.
Wow.
So, no, he's definitely a really good coach.
But everyone else, this was unsurprising.
Okay. So you're saying good players are good at Blood Bowl.
A hot take.
Yeah.
Massive hot take.
But at the same time, Underworld Denizens, interesting.
Yeah,
Chaos Chosen, interesting. Elven Union, cool to see.
Yeah, and I played Mshumi as well with the Distance. He played the Dakar. So
Cool.
He played just sit back and then score in the last 3 turns. He did it extremely well. Annoyingly well.
And he was very unlucky not to tie Fode round 4 when they were both on top table, which would have changed some things because it would have meant Mashumi would have been a bit further up there and would have had a better shot.
He was lucky to beat me because he only beat me because I didn't 1-turn touchdown him on turn 8 in Grand 3. So, Rodney fails to go for it. Whatever. You need a bit of luck.
Yeah, of course.
We did agree not to cover your results too heavily.
Because you sucked.
Yeah.
All right. Now, this is interesting. This is not win rate. This is the race average finishing percent. So what that is if you take everyone who played Amazons, on average, they finished top 16% of the overall tournament.
Yeah.
A bit like a test, Yeah.
Top
16%, Dark Elves, and it goes down. So on
average, like 30th.
Yeah. And so this is just a list from top to bottom of how well each race
what percentile
finished. Yeah.
What percentile?
So if you chose Imperial Nobility, the chances are you would have finished dead middle of the pack.
Yeah.
So at 160 players, that's 80, but we can just look at a percentile.
Yeah. So you obviously
and look at Amazons. That's the. We might as well talk about it now. I think this is the takeaway from the tournament, isn't it?
Well, I see. I'm a bit. I mean, Liam, you obviously dislike Amazons.
It's not
immensely.
like or dislike,
but like a couple of the coaches that took them, they're all very experienced coaches. There was only 6 Amazon players, and I would have said 4 of them are extremely good coaches. And it's just like, well, it's just the way it is.
Okay, and it's long been known that these numbers can get confounded a bit by the fact that the best players lean towards choosing what they know is the best side.
Yeah. And there was a decently sized sample for the Zons. Like it wasn't like Underworld, which you look at where there's only one coach.
That's right.
There was 6, right?
Yeah, that's right. There were 6 coaches.
Yeah.
I moved some teams out because there was one of them, only one. So I was like, all right, that's a bit of a...
Yeah,
doesn't mean much.
Slan only had one.
Yeah, but...
I do actually think that the one thing I would say about Zons is that on day 1, since they were 15, 2-1, like that kind of shows even the coaches who were less experienced, like there were 2 of the coaches who, less experienced Zon coaches, still okay coaches, but going 3-0, I think they were clearly quite good in an average game. They were probably a bit better than average, but I mean that Zons have the highest win percentage in the game currently. So what do you expect?
But this is after they were lifted up to tier 1. Yeah. Most packs would not necessarily have them at tier 1, I believe.
Were they tier 1 last year?
No.
Really?
They were 2
so they've been shifted up to tier 1, and it has... People have just been like, oh yeah, Amazons are really good. Good point. Yeah, Let's take more.
And it's also, I think, the way everyone was... I think pretty much all the coaches used them the exact same way, which was the fouling machine.
Yes. Was it?
Get everything on the ground and just foul.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like... So they're playing in them the optimal way.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it happens.
Yep. And will they be... they're already at tier 1. That's about
tier
it.
0.
So there's
tier 0.
That seems pretty extreme.
Change dodge on the linos to shadowing. Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah, I mean, as a tournament organizer, that's probably a bridge too far to create a tier just for Amazons.
But let's be honest, like at the end of the day, they finished 2 in the top 10.
Correct.
So did Norse. We're not talking
that's
about
interesting
nerfing Norse.
Going back for 1 second, they didn't win the tournament, and their top position was 5 and 10. So maybe it's just not something to stress about too much.
And I think it's also the top guys. You guys know how to play Amazons well. You've got a game plan for them. Yeah.
I would say that like the one thing about Amazons and Norse, it's a bit different with Big V to other tournaments. It's just the less, slightly less money doesn't affect them at all. Like the Amazon, like the fouling rosters would bring like a bribe and 14 players. Like it's just absurd. Whereas teams like
Dark
Necro,
Elves.
Dark Elves were okay, but I think Necro really get hurt by the low amount of money.
Well, actually, that's a good point. Necro are considered probably the second best team in the game right now.
Ooh, who's saying that? That's a hot take.
Just watching the championships.
Oh, the ones in Blood Bowl 2. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's very fair.
And Blood Bowl 3 as well. They're kind of killing it. And
that's a good point.
Maybe there's no Amazons in that meta. of course, because they don't have that on computer. But I think a lot of people are sort of saying Necro is really good at the moment.
I think I agree with you, John. In the hands of a really good coach, Necro are awesome, and online, you're exactly right. You see a lot of people.
So why do we see them so low?
Well, they could only get like 2 rerolls, 11 players, like because of the 1.1 million.
Okay,
it's tough for Necro.
Okay.
But they get like good. They're in a good tier. Like they get extra skills on most of the other good teams. So
I'd like to point out that gnomes suck, and it's glorious.
That's true.
The 4 skill limit just like kills them. The amount of
absolutely
garbage skills they
killed
took, it's
And when you see a number like 86, that means their average was 1 and 5.
Oh, I
We'll
was
next.
not surprised.
Yeah.
yeah, no,
They were garbage.
Yeah, and
Snotlings, because Snotlings were up there because you had 2 guys running the complete meta list of
Yep.
Varug, who probably, let's be honest, should be a star player and gets taxed.
Yep.
Varug and a skitter or a hack flume, and well, that's what happens.
yeah.
So Johnny, Varug, star player.
And it's good though to see that basically, apart from the top little section, everyone kind of falls within a band of
40 to 60.
40
look,
to
there's
60
a
is pretty
lot
good.
of teams,
Yeah,
that are
40 to
just
60.
Even
And Chaos Wars falling down. That was not surprised.
How sad.
they have.
Geez.
Admittedly, though, actually, I think that it kind of makes sense given like the kind of big V meta in that, like you look at the top teams, the Amazon, Dark Elf, Lizman, Skaven, like those kind of teams, which are quite common, you would have played against probably, especially if you're up the top. I wouldn't say the new Chorfs are good against them because obviously they lose tackle. Ironhound Skin's actually really good against like orcs and stuff. It's kind of annoying, but
against the dodge sides,
it's just got way worse. So.
Huh?
Yeah.
And I think we'll move on in a second. I mean, Dark Elves. There you go. Look at Dark Elves.
Yeah.
How about that? They didn't do nearly that well last year.
Well, there was me and Trav was up pretty high as well. I think it was top 20 somewhere.
Yeah. I was Dark Elves as well, probably pulling back the average from this. But still, so maybe on our... Yeah, I don't know if... It just seems to have jumped out of nowhere to be so high.
Yeah.
Of course, you won with Dark Elves, so that swings it. Maybe we'll move here. This is another way of looking at similar results. Baz has taken the traditional win rate.
Yeah. Which was, unsurprisingly, Citizens, that was only Mishumi.
We ignore that. That's just a one of one.
Yeah, so, but Amazon 70%, Snotlings, like 67%, Dark Elf 60%, Lisbon 60%. Like, these are all very well high. I mean, I was, Snotlings and Amazons, like, if you build the meta lists, you can get these.
And Snotlings did get dropped a tier from last year. They got dropped back down.
Oh.
And they did, They went back to Stunty. Because they were really bad. They were really, really bad in 2022. Like, even way worse. And so they got dropped back down because of the Megastar rule.
Right.
But it's like you said, Varag not being a Megastar is really handy because Varag is secretly really good. Can they actually take Hifak? Is he Snotling playable? I don't know. Your Bull Centaur on your Snotling team.
Sick.
The one thing to notice, John, is Orcs.
I was just looking happily at that result. Orcs, who I played and despised last Big V, didn't play them once all tournament. And they miserably are sitting down at 44%. They were bumped up to tier 1.
Oh, no.
Will
we see
I've got a bad feeling they're going to be back in my life again. So I'm going to enjoy it while it lasts. Okay, so this is, I narrowed it down to the top 30. That's basically it. So everyone who did really well, they got at least 4 wins through the tournament. And this is even clearer. 4 Amazons, 3 Delves. These teams, Amazons, Dark Elves, Skaven, Norse, Lizardmen, they were the teams of the tournament.
Yeah.
That's what it comes down to. And then, I just made a note like before. These teams all did really well, but, a nice spread of teams that got, there's just 1 or 2 of them who got no Necro, no Orcs.
That is surprising.
That is surprising.
Necro definitely struck. Well, I mean, Necro last year we had, second? But that's because James is amazing with Necro. But it does surprise me there's no one at all in top 30. No Orcs. I think there are a couple good Orc coaches who drew a lot, like Cullen and such. But I mean, that's Orcs' problem, right? They can sometimes turn games they should win into draws. And lots of these teams here are great in the fact they have a bit of speed or have at least MA7, so they can kind of turn. They can turn games that might have just been a tie. They can quickly score and kind of get ahead or come back and tie. Whereas Orcs, they need 4 turns to score.
Shout out to the Black Orc player, whoever that is.
That was awesome.
Just a dude who went 4 wins with Black Orcs.
Go Black Orcs.
That's awesome.
I've always felt Black Orcs should almost be a stunty team.
And interestingly, is there a similar stat on the next tab? Because I'm curious to talk about vampires, because vampires have been the bit of the boogeyman.
No, so this is about it. But we can go back a second and see vampires sat dead center. Only one vampire team I think went 4-0,
And that was Clay.
right? And not 4-0, but got at least 4 wins.
Yeah.
Beyond that, they had middling results. Nothing
Clay
special.
is really good with them too.
And you were almost going to play vampires.
Yeah, you should
so
play vampires.
I think you probably
Really,
made a
I can
good choice.
thank you, John, because if I played you with my vampires against your Dark Elves, and I played Dark Elves because you smashed me.
And you were like, vampires are annoying.
Yeah.
Oh, my prediction.
Okay, so here's Baz's top 10.
Oh, I had a bit more than that. But yeah.
There might be one I've missed, but this is what I noticed. Obviously, Foe.
Jeez, this ain't looking great, is it?
No, so I did, out of the top 24, I got, out of the top 10, I got everyone except for Luke and Rabid. And Rabid was obviously, for those who don't know, Rabid has been around the scene for a very long time. Been an outstanding citizen, ex-VP of NAF.
Yep.
Has been an extremely good coach. I deliberately left him out just as a wind-up.
Okay.
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah, sure.
But everyone else I had in my top 24 in the top 10.
Okay, so you think top 10, not so good predictions. Top 24, you would have been a
I
lot
think
better.
roughly it's pretty good.
Well, it's kind of because the top 24, honestly, in these kind of tournaments,
Okay.
it's a bit of the luck of the draw. So
Yes.
I compared it to what Johnny predicted last year, and I think Johnny got, out of his top 24, he only got 8 out of the 24.
Johnny got a really nice 1, 2, 3, really close.
Yeah.
But
I'll admit, I know you actually predicted the top 24, and then I looked at how many, and I was like, that's a lot of work. Let's look at the top 10. So maybe I should double back on that and say okay.
I had picked everyone on the list except for Luke and Rabid in the top 24, but most of it, not in the exact.
No.
No, but obviously, and this is one of the harder things about ranking is like you, Liam, I didn't know where to rank you. I know you're a very good coach, but where do you rank you? Because you've never really played Dark Elves.
Yep.
So
That's right. And this is not a 15-game season. This is a 6-game sprint. So
I think the one what I got really wrong was Matt Webb, because he didn't finish anywhere. It was top 50 or something. That was another. And I think he did the same last year as well.
Used up all his a strike ball.
Yeah, he kind of crashed and burned. And I think the biggest one out of the top 24 that I got really wrong was Ronnie Scrollman.
Oh, yeah.
It was 0 wins, all losses day one.
Is that your international? No. Who was the guy who you said had not played much, but he's from overseas?
Oh, there was a guy. Shout out to not the pawn man, but the pawn guy. That's right. He is living the dream. He was on retirement, so big trip around Australia.
Oh yeah, no,
and three
that's
months,
right.
3 months in Australia, and he was just playing BloodBowl winning.
I know,
and I'm like, he's living the dream.
Well, he was already on holiday in Queensland and took a sub-holiday to come down to Melbourne.
And even that holiday, he went from Townsville to Melbourne, but then he got redirected, I think, to Brisbane.
Yeah.
Brisbane to Canberra, Canberra to Melbourne.
Yes,
because the flight got cancelled.
Yeah. And he has a podcast called the Eye of Nuffle podcast. And it's pretty fun. He does a cool thing, normal stuff, but he does also a fun thing where he reviews games in a sports commentator style. Where he's like, running down the sidelines.
I'd also like to point out that Crazy Bunter, I've got 7 on the left and he's finished 6, John. You missed that one.
Yeah. I knew that would make you look a little better. Yeah.
That wasn't the aim of this segment.
I did 3 arrows. I was like, oh, I'm a scientist. All right, let's hit the next slide. This could well be... Oh, yeah, squads.
Oh, yeah.
Squads. Who ended up...
cold-blooded. Well done.
Oh, thanks.
True, we know that. I was more curious as the battle of the South Australian squads.
True.
Though I can see, obviously, one of them was the...
There's never punished prospectors.
The
prospectors.
prospectors.
There's 2 prospectors and Myers Gaming.
Now, and... Okay, so it's the prospectors versus the Myers Gaming.
And Stomp.
Oh, Stomp. Yes, Stomp is... those 2 are the guys that were cracking us all up.
Yeah.
So, Stomp got stomped.
Yeah.
Where are they? They did not fit in my slide.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, Myers Gaming was the guys.
Wow.
Who but interesting to know, with the squad ranking, you guys, cold-blooded, won it in the end. But going into the last round, you're only 3 points ahead, and everyone won.
Yeah, because we swept the last 2 rounds, actually. Which, if Webb and Sons had won again, I mean...
Yeah, but Webb and Sons was let down by Squirrel having a pretty bad day 1, and Matt Webb not doing too great.
Squirrel was very happy to note that he was, once again, not the worst performer in the squad.
Third again.
Yeah.
3 years in a row.
So, no,
I think the biggest...
quite funny.
And... Obviously, the SBBL, that was the Sydney boys.
When they got hurt by, they had to play each other last round, I think.
Yeah, and I think the biggest surprise here was the OSBBL Octopussy boys. They didn't.
I'm not surprised.
They did win your tournament,
That's right.
right?
Yeah, those guys are a band of brothers
who
who stuck together as a team. They won the 3 Heads team tournament, and now they're shooting up the rankings. So that's good to see.
Where were we, John? Oh, no. Oh, you fitted us on there.
I made it long enough to just squeeze us in down the bottom at number 19, right down the bottom there.
Okay.
I do think that we need to get a bit more push for our foreign invaders to get some better squads going, because they were actually quite prominent in the top 10. But the Vics are still holding down the squad top, I'd say.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see. Maybe we get a couple more foreign invader squads next year. A couple super teams. I'd like to see that.
I think a New Zealand super team would
that'd be fun.
Good.
Yeah,
What is the result of the PAV?
No, we don't talk about that.
Have we lost the PAV again?
It's something about that guy was actually English.
Eligibility.
So
he's not. He lives here, but he's English.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm not getting involved in any of this.
Right.
It was very close. If we're talking, it's coming down to 1 or 2 results.
Yeah. So it's still being decided.
I think we've got to go to the High Court.
And
the Immigration Department to find out exactly the eligibility rules.
Yes, exactly.
We're getting someone deported.
Well, yeah, they may end up in Christmas Island.
Yeah. Aha! Da, 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 da.
Hey!
Embarrass me.
So this is fun. Now we're going to discuss how does one go about winning the Big V.
Yes.
I'd recommend getting lucky.
Good call. So round 1. Now I haven't given you any forewarning of this, so this is just off the top of your dome. You played the Whitetail Scramblers with the Shambling Undead.
So that's Andrew from SA.
I actually played him again today in
Oh, no way.
SWL.
That's cool.
And yeah, I played him twice at the 24-hour tournament earlier in the year and lost both times because we were, like, in the last round matched up against each other as, like, 5th and 6th. So I had to play his Death Roller Dwarves twice. So I was very happy to win the first game against him.
Yeah, you would have been stressing coming into game 1 being like...
Well, yeah, he's pretty good. He's a pretty good coach. No, he's a really good coach.
This is not a... Like, because in round 1, you honestly, in big tournaments, you kind of... If you want to win, it's nice to get... Someone new.
You did bring up the 57 new coaches, and I'm like,
57
someone
new
who's
coaches,
beat me twice this year.
And then you get someone you know, someone you play, someone who knows all the
That's
tricks.
the dream.
Yeah.
Just sit down, you're like, hi, I'm putting you at Blood Bowl. And
I got pretty... I out-cased him with Dark Elves.
Nice.
So, like, the undead had...
And what was that? That was a 2-1 victory? Do you remember?
2-0.
2-0.
So a solid win. And the number down here is where he ended up. It's almost your strength of schedule.
Yeah.
So that player ended up finishing 82nd. So
Andrew had a bad weekend. He's a very good coach, actually, Andrew.
well, everyone who played you sort of, they've had at least one loss.
Yeah.
But you actually had a very strong strength of schedule, as we'll see. Round 2, you played Frenzied Run.
From Tasmania?
Yep.
Necromantic Horror.
Honestly, the Necro were pretty close. They failed a 3-up dodge to score with a Wolf about turn 5 of the first half. And then just the Dark Elves, just,
Dark Elves.
just 2-0. Kind of clinical from there.
Nice, clinical.
Round 3, Durka, who finished, I think,
12th.
Fourth last year.
Oh, okay.
So
well, now...
Amazons, which
so
Liam
now
loves.
we're getting pretty serious.
I thought I was so stuffed.
Round 3 is you're playing a very good player, playing the best team, and even after losing to you, he must have won almost every other game because he finished 12th overall.
Yeah.
How did that game plan out?
That was, it was pouring rain.
Ooh.
And I had a good kick that was like deep-ish. And so he ended up, starting to beat down on the line. Interestingly, as we'll see, I chose to kick in all 3 of these games.
Okay.
And because my whole strategy, I probably should have mentioned this before, my whole strategy, because I had only 11, was trying to come up against the teams that I knew could definitely murder me. I'd just kick, I'd go all in. If they don't murder me off the line on the start, that's kind of the scariest turn of the game out of the way, and we can kind of hope we turn them over with all 11. And then second half, if we're down a couple players second half, it's not too bad being down a couple players on offense with Dark Elves. Obviously, if some team just 4-cases me on the line, I'm in trouble. But it saves the halfway, because often with only 11 elves going into half, if I receive and they go into half time, they'll have their 2 sets of blocks on either side of the half and probably foul me both times. So I'd want to avoid that. And so I kick to the Zons, it starts raining, great, fails the pickup, and then I kind of basically ran my whole team kind of behind his front line.
That's a bold move.
Yeah, I just went, I have to go all in. Otherwise, he's going to murder my team, because I think the Amazons were really scary for me. And then, he just couldn't quite secure the ball, and I could surf the carrier, and then I just made a bunch of rubbish.
Let me just intercede here. I believe it was a 4+, 3+, 2+, 1 die block to surf. Is what I've been told.
Well, yeah.
That's
No, that was actually the.
That's the second.
That was the
one.
pickup. No, that was the pickup, I think.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So, but the pickup was bad because it was in the rain. The throw in was terrible. The surf was actually pretty safe, but the pickup was bad. And that's the thing, because I had all my rerolls. I just went, I got to go all in.
And I have spoken to Durka after it, and he said, elf fucking bullshit.
Yeah, no. It was.
It's glorious to see, because, you're always tempted to just, fuck it, let's go all in.
Yeah.
Usually it doesn't pay off, but obviously it did there.
No, that was my strategy.
Round 4, De Arquebus, Norse.
So this is Hutchie.
Yeah. And no, that was a good game. And
Always good to get Hutchie on start of day 2 when he's only had about 3 hours sleep.
I did put Squirrely Dan on a mission. Because obviously I know this going into day 2. I'm like, if Hutchie shows up to my game, you've failed.
Right.
I don't want to see him tomorrow morning.
So he's just at the pub just being like, another round's just turned up.
I think he...
Unfortunately, it was Mashumi who nearly got taken out, but not enough, clearly. But no, so it was a pretty good game. I had a bit of luck on removals again, and I took out the Ulfs pretty early. Again, I chose to kick, and just, Norse didn't hurt me in the line, and that could really press the ball. I was a little bit greedy in the first half, and I could have made a nice, I surfed someone on turn 8 rather than, and I instantly noticed after I could have chain pushed someone closer, so I didn't have to throw a really bad pass to try score. So it was 0 all half time, and then just stalled out the second half and scored turn 16. So.
And then the big one, last year's champion, Foe with his ons. This is like the ultimate boss.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it was. And because he was 10 wins straight at this point, so I was just like,
At this stage, you're both undefeated.
4-zip. Yeah.
And funnily enough, Fode actually won the toss and chose to receive. So I chose to kick every other game, which was interesting and I think he's correct in that obviously he can just murder my team and win the game. But That didn't really happen. He honestly did not get any Kaz from fouls. I think he got one Kaz from a block in the first half, and he had a couple knockouts from fouls. But knockouts aren't too bad when I get 2 chances to recover for the second half.
Were you really concentrating on placement to avoid bad fouling against you?
Well, my main aim just against all those fouling teams, because of the Norse and Amazons, I was just really trying to be as aggressive as possible. Like, yes, you're right, trying to place like that, but just trying to make sure if I ever have a shot on the ball, just go for it. If it's half decent, like not, diving into cages. But no, so I ended up getting quite lucky on the last turn. I had a chain push to push one of the witches into the cage, and then surf the ball carrier 2 dice uphill 2 times. Yeah. And that was like, I was really happy with that one. I can tell you that. Because the first half was pretty much all forward. I literally didn't break armor. And,
just dodging away.
And just, the Zons was very clinical. Forward obviously playing really well, but had that really cheeky play, got the luck. Ball goes 10 squares downfield, so he pretty much can't score. To ruin it, my blitzer snaked. I only snaked twice all tournament, and my blitzer snaked trying to recover the ball on this pickup here.
Oh no!
And then Kaz'd himself.
Oh,
like, no. So after the highest of highs on the turn. But I got lucky because at halftime I had 3 KOs out. I had those 2 players out, one of them being a blodge blitzer, and the 3 KOs all woke up. Suddenly have 9. My injury dice have been cold all game. But it means his bench didn't get a chance to come on. And I got a bunch of Kaz right after halftime, starting my offense. So Fode's bench never came into the game.
You got the numbers advantage, and you just
stalled out. Funnily enough, the Zons didn't fail a dodge because they're just the most annoying. But the Dark Elves didn't fail one either. And that's when you don't fail anything, it's the Dark Elves.
Glorious.
Yeah.
And Chaos chosen this. I'm curious to see how this turned out.
This is round 6, the final. So you're at top table. You've been up there for a couple games now.
Both only teams on 5 and zip.
It was a funny game because it was honestly, I think we were both very relieved at our previous games.
Yeah.
My first half was pretty average. I think that was honestly the worst half I played by far. And I got too cute and was trying to screen off the tackle piece rather than just focusing on the ball. So he scored turn 8.
Ooh. Jeez.
And I had a couple dice on the ball.
So did you kick or receive?
I did choose to kick again.
So you've kicked to him. He's scored turn 8.
He scores turn 8.
So you've kicked every game.
I've kicked every game. Yes. Yeah, I kicked every game. And 5 times I chose to. So it was
so you got...
So I, win the toss. Good start.
Baz believes he didn't win this tournament because he didn't win the toss.
Funnily enough, people often go, "Oh, I'll beat you up by receiving," which I think is often a trap. I think it's better to, because the good thing is if they have the ball, they have to focus on protecting the ball. Oh, whereas if they're on defense, they just focus on murdering you.
We have the exact same point of view of if you're getting the ball, you have to put at least 3 or 4 players protecting the ball. Yeah. That means it's 11 on 8 elsewhere.
Yeah. Rather than 3 or 4 players standing around someone kicking them.
Correct.
So, no. And I went for the win. Scored about turn 4 second half. Because I'd had a bit lucky and I removed his tackle piece and his wrestle piece.
Did you know that if it was a draw, you would have still won most likely?
We don't know that because we're sitting looking next to us. We're sitting looking next to us. There was one other person on 5 wins and a loss in the end, which was Mashumi. That's why me and Luca won 2 because it was basically just our game decided to top table. But so generally, you get left.
Yeah, little did you realise you could have possibly gotten the draw.
Yeah.
But no.
I did have a really... I wasn't going to... I did want to go for 6-0. Both of us were kind of like, we can't,
You can't risk it.
And I got a bit lucky in the sense that since I failed the pick-up turn 1, he kind of pushed forward and used some rerolls to try and really pressure me, and then I kind of ran around him. So he was down to be on rerolls. So and I was up numbers against Chaos,
Oh, jeez.
Obviously,
loving life.
Yeah.
So that must mean that turn 5, it's 1-1.
Yeah, kick into them.
The second half, and they've got the ball, and they've got 4 turns.
But I'm up 11-9 though.
It's not much to get the ball off.
And how many rerolls?
I had 1, they had 1.
So how do you go from that to I've got the ball and I've scored? What?
Just base up the cage with Blodge and just watch the Chaos kind of scream because they don't have much. Because they can only get 4 blocks and they 4 block skills. So yeah, it was just super aggressive. I'm not very aggressive. I was too passive in the first half. I should have probably based him up earlier.
You just touched his cage, obviously carrying him with a Kongor or whatever they are, and he just couldn't do anything. Did he try to re-cage?
Just put a lot of people around the cage and really pressed him up, and he couldn't push enough away. So the next turn I could make some nice chain pushes, and I pushed in a way that the ball bounced to one of my blodge blitzers, and he caught it with 2 turns to go, which was like
you must have been freaking out.
Yeah, I was like, no, I'll take that because I only had 1 reroll, so picking up the ball could have been scary. So that issue solved.
So you chain push. So you basically marked everything up. Got some elven chain pushes out. Ball comes loose. Well, you're able to blitz the ball carrier. Ball bounces to your blodger, and then it's.
No, I did totally dice Luke. To be honest, it was funny.
Yeah,
it was good for me. It was nice for me. It was like, I have a nice.
If you're
easy
up casualties with Dark Elves against Chaos, which is like armor 9 and 10 across the board. You're doing all right.
His team wasn't that murderous. Like, I think the Amazons were more murderous because of all that fouling.
Because I think that was...
Because he only had 1 mighty blow, 1 tackle. But he had a really strong... Luke had a really good offense in the first half. And was just really tight caging. And just like, he used the Warriors really well. So no, honestly, it was just one of those games where, he just... Yeah. Both coaches wouldn't have done too much different. Just kind of rolled better. Yeah.
Just roll better at the right crucial moments, and that's what happens. Yeah. There you go.
Glorious victory.
Thank you. So embarrassing. Gee whiz.
So that's so good. And then that's it. Does that mean you can chill out next year? You'll just be taking some gnomes or...
Yeah, I'm not taking gnomes, I can tell you that.
But surely that means next year you'll be a bit like, I'm good.
Well,
or
Stunty King.
The first to ever win back-to-back. That's never happened.
Well, it is tempting. I will admit, I'll be much more...
You should take vampires.
No. I do know that a Gold Crush rules pack just released for you Vic coaches. I know I'm playing something stupid there. That's not vampires. It's gonna be something else spamming pros. So maybe that'll be 2025, the year of Liam playing stupid pro rosters. Yeah, that could be the go. So yes,
very cool. Well, we were lucky to have you as our guest.
Clearly,
that's true.
We're the lucky child.
Well, if my vampires didn't do awful against you, John, I might have played vampires.
True, that would have been funny, yes.
So no.
Yeah, so it was all your fault, John.
Yeah, it's true. I should have, and then I would have done better. And the worst thing was, I had exactly the same Dark Elf team as Liam. Yeah. So I can't say nothing about my results.
It's kind of a skill issue.
At this stage.
The truth is, like, the fact that I got so little removals against me, like that was...
What was 5 casualties the whole tournament?
No, I think it was 8.
8 casualties against.
Yeah, something like that. And you aren't be giving up too many blocks, but it's still awesome.
How many casualties did you score all tournament?
How many did you get against you?
I don't know against. I did play against a lady with, like, I think it was Old World Alliance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she got 3 in one single turn. Kaz dead.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, Jesus.
I don't know what that feels like.
And my casualties, I achieved 2 for the tournament. That's how many Kazs I caused.
You know how to block, right?
Apparently not. I was just like, I started blocking. I was like, this is not worth my time. But,
yeah. 2. I think I got 2 on my first turn.
Yeah. The funny thing is that lady who really wrecked my team, I ended up with 1 elf on the last turn being kicked to death, fouled.
Classic.
That was actually a draw, that game. So it was actually a very fun, exciting game. Yeah, and then we both moved to the same table. And she did the same thing to Lizardmen. I looked across at the Lizardmen guy she was playing. They were all dead as well. It's just like, murderer.
All right.
Let's go. Okay. That's it. We've looked at some stats.
One thing I would do, because you didn't put on there, the stunties. So
yes, okay. Yeah, let's hear about stunties. Shall we go big screen again?
Yeah, big screen back to us. So the stunties, the Stunty King was won by shock horror, Jono and his fucking medalist.
You predicted that?
Yeah, look, no offense.
I think you actually have a medalist now because the amount of copycat
Yeah.
Jewfoot teams.
Well-
so I'm pretty sure you're a medalist
Yeah. So
player now, unfortunately.
So the way the Stunty Cup panned out, there was 3 guys. Come round 5, there was 3 guys on myself, Ricardo, and Jono. We're all on 3 wins, 1 loss. Ricardo and Jono played each other. Jono won. I imploded, completely imploded against Trav. Jewfoot, trip wide on the line. Fucking no. I know I lost the plot.
You said that. Tilted. Wildly
Completely
tilted.
Worst game I've played for a long time.
And I know what you do when you get tilted.
Yeah.
You just start throwing halflings
So I
until
ended-
they're all dead.
So I ended up cassing, knockouting, KOing literally my entire side, throwing them at the cage. Lost the plot. Really, really, really bad. But then Jono was 1 win ahead of myself and Ricardo. Ricardo and I played the last round. Ricardo won, but Jono got a draw against Hydra Hound. So, and that was a car ride back to Ballarat. So I reckon there might have been some cash.
Oh.
No, as if as if it wasn't bragging rights.
Yeah, Mick,
I was gonna say,
Mick hates losing to Jono.
Yeah, I was gonna
Hates it.
say.
Anyway, but Jono was the absolutely worthy victor. But very annoyed that he still won. But,
And that was
whatever.
Snotlings.
Snotlings with Varag and I think Skidder.
No, it must have been Hackflem because
must have
there
been
was
Hackflem,
one
yeah.
megastar.
Yeah, it was Hackflem and Varag. No rerolls.
Don't
20
need
20 Snotlings.
And I assume that the fake stunty halflings hate the other fake stunty team Snotlings.
Yeah, it's
You know,
Snotlings
like they're
are-
just like, this is what we're trying to cheat our way to victory.
Yeah.
And then they're doing it even more
Well, it's
so.
kind of rude when you can't, there's not really anything that's good value to foul, except the stars, which you, never get to hit.
Yeah. And then also, most touchdowns went to Rabid. Now, Rabid, hilariously, this is a good... So, Rabid drawed Dinger, so Costerilio round 1, which was basically my halfling list from last
Yes.
year. So, I imagine Rabid drew me 3-3 last year. I imagine he got to the table, was having PSD, flashbacks. He then proceeds to 6-1, gets all his vengeance out.
Did not take his foot off the
I
floor.
think-
I hate you.
I think Dinger was probably going,
Yeah.
like, why are you calling my catch a Jewfoot? Like, what is going on here?
Also, can I leave now? Like, no, I can score one more touchdown.
Yeah. Oh, so it's like, you're up by 4 touchdowns. Like, no.
You
You
stay.
don't understand.
So he got 6-1 and obviously just scored, 2 touchdowns a game after that. Did very well. I think he finished with 17, which was, I think, one less than I got last year.
Okay.
I think it was
Just put it-
16,
just
so
put
it's
it-
2 less.
Just putting it out there. 18 is still the record, I think.
Okay.
And obviously, and the most fouls, most casualties went to Mycroft, one of the
It did.
one of the Gordon, Pentland boys.
Yeah.
Oh,
With
a young fella?
Yeah, young fella. Corn, yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
The defending champion third got, I think, equal, but got done on strength of schedule. I think
Yeah.
I was up there as well.
That was that pile driver
Yeah,
Black Hawk list
Black
that
Hawk,
was,
it was-
that was equal.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
And the best record. I've got to bring this up. So Gordon Pentland, Cilio, he had the best record. So first game, 1-1. Second game, 1-1. Third game, 1-1. Fourth game, 1-1. Fifth game, 1-1. Sixth game, opponent 1-0.
Oh.
Do you reckon he just didn't score?
I want to know if he tripwide on the final turn. It would have been
No, I want to know if he just didn't even score just out of personal choice.
It is actually incredibly rare to draw all 6 in a major tournament. It's happens
very
15 times ever in NAF recorded history. So, but I looked at that and I thought that was fantastic. So, even Steven.
Yep. No, really good. And that was actually, speaking of the juniors, that was one thing. So I think now we just have the chat of various things that sort of we kind of noticed. It's not like stats per se, but just things we noticed. And the one thing that sprung to my mind was it was really cool to see a bunch of the younger guys there.
Yep.
and also a little bit of more of a fuss being made about it. You know, they really brought them up the front. They said, you guys all win something small, a certificate.
good.
There was a junior cup.
Yeah, that's a very good initiative.
Yeah. And I don't know, it was just really nice to see. The kid who won it was so stoked. And how often does, what was he, like 15 or something?
Yeah.
Pretty little. And, everyone's... I mean, you're like just coming out of that area.
Yeah, it should be expanded to under 25.
Yeah, you're like, where's my junior cup?
If I can't drink and drive, like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
And you've got that attitude of like, when I was coming up, everyone was just a bastard. Like, shut up, Liam. Now they all want to be nice to the younger fellas.
No, it was Jun who won, right?
Yeah.
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 I cannot remember his NAF name for the life of me.
Solano?
I think that's right.
Yeah, it was Solano. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he actually, I think, had 3 wins, 1 loss at one stage. He was doing
Yeah, he was up the top.
Yeah.
At the start. Yeah.
And that, and as we always say, it's the future of the sport. Like,
You always say that.
Yeah, but you
But
always
it's true. It's corny, but true.
You always want the younger players to feel welcome, have fun,
Yeah.
come back for more.
You know, at the tournament we put on earlier, we had a thing where under 18s don't have to pay for their ticket.
Yep.
And maybe that's something other TOs will do. Just because, I mean, it's not like you're going to get flooded with kids. And imagine that. Just,
Rock it up with
we've made a big mistake.
You're gonna have all the dads bringing their kids, and it's like, no, you can play for free.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to be here, Dad.
And round one, it's a win-win because then I'm round one against some 12-year-old. Like, yes. This whole thing's paid off.
It's going to look great for my TD, dude.
Yeah.
And then you lose. And
Oh, no. Yeah.
All right, John, I have a question for you, though, as well.
Yeah.
What do you think, like, yes, what do you think about, like, in terms of takeaways, what do you think about, like, races and such? Like, what do you think the results tell us about what's good, what's not? What was hot this year? What might be hot next year? What are your thoughts there?
I think Orcs may well go back down to Tier 2 because that's their natural home. Sucks, but there you go.
Don't be an Orc apologist.
Look, I'm not. No one dislikes... Orcs are the real dwarfs of Blood Bowl. But I do think that will happen. I think Skaven, will they... I don't think they'll stay in Tier 2. I think we were lucky to have it while it lasted as a Skaven, coach.
They might go back.
I think they'll go back.
I think Chaos Wars will drop down. I think they'll go.
That'll be interesting to see how that happens, like over the course of the year. Nah, I think it'll be Tier 2 for sure, but
they're a low Tier 2.
Yeah. How sad.
Blackhawks are Tier 3, aren't they?
Yes.
And they will stay there.
Yeah.
Do we need more tiers so that we can put Amazons up higher?
Well, see, I do wonder if like stuff like, for the reason that it was interesting looking around the top tables, like rounds 4 and so, I feel like you felt it was really hybrid team dominated. Like you really noticed there were lots of Zons especially, but like quite a lot of Norse. And obviously Skaven, and even Dark Elves are quite like... They're obviously still elves, but they're the bashy elves.
Yeah, there was no... Apart from Luke's Chaos.
There really weren't many bash. No, there really
Oh,
wasn't.
Joe KO had his dwarves.
Yeah.
Which is
I remember looking at... I think I looked at everyone who was 3-0 after day 1, and it was 9 teams. And yeah, only one of them were bash. And there were like 3 Zons
there. I mean... It's also, you've got to get wins.
Yeah.
Like, so the hybrid teams and the dash teams have an inbuilt advantage of being able to, if you're in a situation where you're behind or, you still have the ability to get the win. Whereas the bash sides, if you have a bad roll or a bad block, you're toast. It's you're playing for the draw.
And like, I imagine, like, even if you're... like my final game, right? I score going aggressively for the win. Like if I'm my opponent and I have to score going aggressively for the win, even if I have numbers as an Orc coach, maybe I'm 3 players up. Like scoring in 4 turns on defense with Orcs is really, really tough. Scoring in 4 turns on offense with Orcs is tough enough.
Yeah.
In the European tournament scene at the moment, there's a lot of concern that it's become, how would you say, kill bowl, removal bowl. where they're saying that, no, too much of the focus has become on removals, which doesn't necessarily mean bash teams, but it does mean foul
teams. I think the foul teams are really prominent.
Would you say that's something that we're looking at? End result, no, but that's what people are trying to do.
I mean, I myself have turned around to that. I was playing very much a foul-heavy game. I mean, with stunties. I mean, what else do you want me to do?
Let's not forget Snotlings came third, right?
No, I definitely think it was a big foul matter because of the slightly lower amount of cash and just the teams that lots of the good coaches were playing.
Yeah.
I think that was kind of my whole hope was that I'd just get lucky because obviously Duck Elves, I don't care about removals at all. I just care about living.
Yeah, you don't want to get removed yourself.
No.
But, you know, just don't fall on the ground. It's not that hard.
The 1.1 budget.
Oh, I think it's fine.
Honestly, it's actually fine. If genuinely that could be something they do to nerf like your Zons is make the budget slightly bigger because then they don't really need it. Whereas like Necro are like, oh my god, another reroll. Like Necro going crazy for it.
1.15. I mean, for Skaven, that's an extra reroll. That's another lineman, line rat.
I do like it though in that sometimes it can be too much. Like sometimes.
Diminishing
I feel
returns.
like you kind of should be punished because Necro are really expensive because all our positionals are like insane.
But it's a balancing act. I mean, like Big V rule pack. I think you saw it's pretty level. We like to dump on Amazons because we don't play them.
And they're really unfun to play.
They are. Then that's the thing. It's like every game is the same. If you fall on the ground, you're getting stomped.
At the end of the day, the results, even though the win rate for Amazons was really high, the actual results at the top was not affected that badly by them.
But
so does that mean it's
I think that's just like I got lucky not to get completely obliterated by them.
Fode. Yeah, because you beat Fode. That's literally it.
But genuinely,
And
like
dirty.
Fode had a lot of dirty play fouls and just every time it'd be like 5-4 armor and he had 4 plays around it, so who cares? And then he'd roll like 2-3 on the injury. It's like, yes, another one lives.
Yeah.
So no.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's always look, there's no perfect rule set because all tournaments are different. Like, honestly, there's no perfect rule set. And honestly, it doesn't matter. Like, this rule set has been around, and I think Johnny does a great job. It's easy to comprehend. People seem to like it because they keep coming back. So,
And I like that it's consistent every year.
And worrying about the top results, honestly, they'll take care of themselves.
That's true.
It's more about, like, to me, it's more about getting people in the door. Play this as your first tournament. You want a simple rules pack.
That's true.
If he rolled in with the Euro rules pack, I'd be like, I've got no idea what's happening here, right?
Yeah.
So keep it simple. Look, there's going to be some mistiering here and there along the way. We can discuss, Varric should be a star player. This is at the edge stuff. Like, honestly, it really doesn't.
No, I do think the star players were less dominant this year, which is good.
The mega star tax.
What did you think about
definitely felt
Merv?
Merv seemed okay.
I played against him 2 times, I believe, and he was there. He wasn't crucial. He was a bit luck of the draw, whether he kills you with that throwing a tinny.
Yeah.
But
it's a strength 3 block piece. It's just a lineman
Strength
with
3
block.
Norse lineman, yeah.
So
Some people, when people were saying Merv was broken, it's like, okay, you got a bit unlucky in your game.
Merv.
Yeah. Nah, Merv was totally fine.
But it's also like if you come up against a bomber and they just destroy you, you're like, bombers are absolutely over the top. And then you play them in another game and they just fumble and blow themselves up.
And it wasn't as bad as a bomber.
No.
Like nothing compared to, So, no problems there.
Yeah.
It was good. This is a bit more nitty gritty. Johnny had this new software that made the tournament run quicker and easier than a 25. That was crazy.
That was exceptional. So that was James DSF who came up with that, or I forget. Or
there was a few people.
There's the BB roster guy.
And Jack as well, I think.
Yeah, that software was really
It was exceptional. That was legit, mate. And us doing TOing ourselves or manually typing.
I remember when you were doing it, you were
This is-
sweating,
yeah.
confused,
This
dropping
was-
things.
and
It
like
was
170, 160, so 80 games, and it ran like a breeze.
Yeah.
Like it was awesome.
So that was lovely.
really
Yeah.
It was absolutely.
We also had these two slightly longer round times.
Yeah,
correct.
The 3-3 breakdown was
Fantastic. Well, yeah, and also it changed from 3 games on both days, which
4-2 last year, and I remember being properly wiped at the end of day 1 last year, whereas this year was fine.
I found that after day 1, I was a bit sad because instead of having a 3-day tournament, I was like, it's only 2 games today. So it was
2 games is a bit sad.
it was nice to wake up and be like, we've got a whole new day ahead of us. And no matter how bad you do on day 1,
Like you, John.
yeah, well, that's it. I really struggled day 1, but I was like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Day 2, you'll be back.
Day 2, it's a whole new thing.
Yeah. And that actually shows because like you what was it 1-1-1 on day 1, and then I think it was two wins.
Yeah.
But you or someone like Squirrel who only had 1 win on day 1, Submarine 3 wins on day 2. Like
Glorious.
you can really turn it around.
Mm-hmm. And longer times for lunch as well.
Yeah, I don't think there was any time issue. I don't remember any games. Well, maybe one or two.
There were a couple, but
at the edges.
I honestly just was anyone I hadn't played against before, chess clock.
I did that for the first time this tournament.
Yeah,
I
just wipe it out.
dropped a chess clock every single game. Just simple as that. And I'm never going back. Yeah. I'm never going back.
No,
it was glorious.
It was nice because you just knew, like, and often half the time I end up with using more time than them. But it's good also because you know that you aren't ruining their game by being too slow.
That's right.
I actually just like it just because it keeps the game.
just simple.
And it stop you doing analysis paralysis and being like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Like,
so I played Trav, who's been playing forever. Yeah. I played it with it, and he's like, he was like, the tactile hitting the button at the end. He was like,
it's quite satisfying.
He was like, this is amazing. He was like, I'm buying one.
Yes.
It was just like, because the finality of the end.
There's no more, you're like, done.
And then I always do that and then go, oh, no, wait.
Yeah, you're the worst.
I haven't blocked with my dream.
Well, you're also the guy who rolls the dice in the dice cup, puts it down, and is like, but then again, I haven't lifted the cup.
No.
Actually,
show bring his puck.
Yeah.
This never happens.
Why otherwise use a dice cup, honestly, other than to do that?
I just enjoyed it because, I played maybe 1 or 2 people who were on the slower side because I don't like to tell people to hurry up. I don't like conflict.
The clock does.
And then it was just the opposite. I was like, take your time. Yep. Go scrounging around.
Take all the time in the world.
Yeah, it's fine. Like, I'm not stressed. I'm not trying to tell you to hurry up. It's your time.
Yeah.
Do whatever you like.
Yeah. You got one. Because
it just made me so relaxed.
And
I liked it.
the way we played it was 1 hour each, and then you've got a buffer of 20 minutes to go for a drink.
I found that to be a friendlier way of doing it.
And also, like, honestly, like, it kind of sometimes the clock would stress me out, but then you just think when you play online, you're just on the clock.
Yeah.
Like, that's just how you play Blood Bowl 3. So it's not really that weird. Like, you are just playing Blood Bowl on the clock generally anyway.
Yeah, I think it's more people when they first come around, you think, we're trying to be gaming. It's not about that. It's just about moving the game on and keeping it going. That's all it is.
Yep.
It's not a reflection of the person or anything. It's just a functional thing.
Yeah. And what I learned is there's no point bringing a chess clock out after you realise someone is slow.
No.
Because that's too late then.
It's way too late.
So then...
If only you could have some kind of measure of time.
It's
to know how
sort of the opposite where I would have games, have the chess clock, and after 20 minutes I'd realise it's not going to matter. We're sweet. We've got so much time. Don't worry. We'd still use it, but...
I played, I think, all my games. We used it, and then by half time we were like, we've got an hour and a half to put it away.
Yeah.
I think against Mashumi, he was like, within the first turn, I was like, we're not needing this. Because he did his turn in like 2 minutes. Yeah. I did mine in 2 minutes. I'm like, we don't need this.
Yeah. It also, it's a silly thing, but it does make you feel slightly better when you snake eyes at the start of your turn, which I did a few times.
That's true.
I was just like, all right, dodge off the line for my deck up. I've snaked. Well, I guess I just banked 4 minutes. Yeah,
4 minutes.
That's good. There you go. 15 seconds, turn 1. Good.
All right.
I think that's
we're
really
pretty
everything. I didn't have anything else.
Now, big thanks to Johnny for organising.
Oh, Johnny, fucking absolutely
Beep,
brilliant.
beep, 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 beep.
Yeah, that
it
didn't
didn't work.
Yeah.
Let's stop the recording.
Johnny's technical proficiency. It's like we're saying, with the whole result stuff was awesome.
Oh,
You could go and harass him, and he wasn't like, go away, I'm entering 5 million results.
He was a lot chilled this year because you don't, and we know from all TRing ourselves, when you don't have to enter the result, you're just so much more relaxed, and you can actually just be an organizer. Like, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Will you try and run some software? Like, I wonder if he'll be able to distribute it.
I think that has been happening.
And the other beauty of it was we got the results for us to look at and analyse.
Oh, straight away
In spreadsheet form.
One day I'll update the Vic Masters thing. I was going to do that today. I promise. Actually, I got the day off tomorrow. I promise.
Yeah.
I promise everyone. It'll release with this video.
Okay,
It'll be out.
One little thing is just that there's some upcoming events.
Yeah. So,
It's up on the screen here, but we've got Capital Bowl, which is part of CanCon.
so the Vics, instead of going to Rise and Grind this year, all the Vics are going up to Canberra.
I'm hoping it's a Vic invasion.
Yeah.
So all three of us could be there. I'm a bit.
Yeah, maybe.
We don't know if I'll be
John
there.
and I are
I'm
definitely
a sub
going.
coach.
There's a bunch of people. Yeah.
Yep, there's a bunch. Yeah, James DSF, maybe Squirrel, maybe Matt Webb, maybe Nubs.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna.
There's a
B-Road.
couple of, who do we know of the City Boys? Was Clay coming down?
Yeah, I think Clay's
I think
going.
Clay said he was going.
Hutchie's, I think, playing something else. Whatever.
It's just cool to see also.
No, it's kind of nice to get to play Sydney guys without them having to come all that way or vice versa.
We also have the famous Rise and Grind.
Yeah,
Which
only
was
20 coaches.
Awesome fun.
We went last
highly
year.
recommend.
It's in Adelaide. It's a 24-hour Blood Bowl tournament.
Yeah. 10 games in 24 hours.
It's the event of a lifetime.
And you know what's messed up? You literally end the 10th game and you're like, I could play another.
It's so good.
you're like,
It's so good.
honestly, I still want to play more Blood Bowl.
It breaks your mind where you're like, I am Blood Bowl. I would go to the bathroom like straight diagonal, straight diagonal, straight diagonal. It's the best. You have to. Everyone should do that at least
Everyone
once.
should do it. So if you're in Adelaide, you South Australian boys who complained that all those Vics took the spots last year, get a ticket. It is absolutely a blast.
So that's January 18th. And then just like next week after that is Sydney Bowl. Hell yeah, 9th of February.
Yep.
That's a big deal. And then
Gold
back in
Crush.
Victoria, Gold Crush has
up
been
in
announced.
Ballarat. Yep.
And then I was just speaking that Block Tackle Power is...
March 23rd, I thought.
Yeah, I know it's in March.
Yeah, March
it's not,
23rd.
Okay, March 23rd.
I think.
So it's cool to see. I was a bit sad, actually, at the end of Big V. I was a bit like, it's the end of the season. It's the end of Blood Bowl for the year.
And also, there is a Fumble online one over the Christmas New Year period. If anyone wants to get in contact with me. I'll spam it up on Rosbowl and all that kind of stuff. But that will be on Fumble, 3 games on the Saturday, Sunday over Christmas, New Year's. 3 games in a day, so it's like 6 hours. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
If that's what I'm going to be on holiday, so I can't play. So whatever.
But basically, don't be sad.
Yep.
There's heaps more
Yeah,
Blood
there's heaps
Bowl.
more.
Hell yeah.
Woohoo.
Well, and next year we'll probably have to take tickets on who we get the guest coach to be before we do
That's
this,
true.
because obviously
Set a bad precedent.
Exactly.
Set to win. If you don't win it, then why are we talking?
Maybe James DSF will come down. He'll be like, I want to win. I've got to cover all bases.
Yeah.
I'm going to drive an hour and a half from Geelong just to make sure.
Yep.
And then someone will arrive. Just one before him. Just slip in. Damn. Anyway.
All right. Thanks.
Thanks, guys.
All right. See you next time.
Bye.